Joel, if you will, roll for perception, and then Joe roll for survival if you're staying the guide for the group.
Yeah, it's a 15 plus 4 for a 19.
19.
Survival.
I got a 9 plus 3 for a 12 on perception.
12. Okay. All right. And then that. Kriv is able to make his way tactically, as he had learned to do a long time ago. Is it fair to say that your people, even if they didn't have mounted experience, they still would have had groups that would have done like skirmishing and ambushing and stuff like that? Does he have a broad range of experience as a soldier when he was in Faerun?
Yeah, so his clan is actually from the mountains, so they're mountain dragonborn. But then in his time as a soldier, I mean, he has seen, and this sounds like a cop out, but he has been just about everywhere. So his natural habitat is actually the mountains. That's where he's most comfortable. But he's probably least comfortable if you took him out to Kansas. But he's still. So, yeah, in a varied landscape like this, he's got a high tactical advantage.
Yeah, in an innate sense, I think he simply would be able to intuit avoiding animal paths and exposure and things like that. And Kriv, is it fair to say, probably suggest those paths as Ardrith kind of... you've at this point where the mountains are, and so you're pretty confident. I would say Ardrith, at this point you get the sense that that's probably where the birds went.
Oh, absolutely.
And since so you're pointed that way, and Kriv is kind of guiding you all through the overgrowth down below it in the foothills, and you're able to do that. It doesn't. The sun is beginning to set at this point, and it's coming to the close of your now second day, I think. Yeah, second day of travel, and you've been able to evade any monsters. You have food. The sun is now beginning to set in the northwest. And the foothills are beginning to grow, and you're seeing the smaller and shorter mountains in the foothills of what people have begun to call Vola's cliffs. Let's see. You could probably travel one more period of hours before darkness if you wanted to do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I think we'll do that, and then we'll set up camp.
Okay, let me see here. Cliffs 2B1 result. Okay, you can roll for survival again, Joe, and Joel, you could roll for perception again.
8 plus 3 for 11.
11. Okay.
You get down here to survival. As a 15 plus 4 again for a 19.
19. Okay. I think you guys kind of work together as a team to be able to take both the most expedient paths to the forest, and at the same time those paths that would probably not reveal you to these demons or other beasts or monsters. You remain alert as you travel, and you're confident that you've made it to the base of these mountains. Now, darkness is beginning to fall. And the light rain has begun to shift away as those clouds have moved off, and you're now entering into the weather system up into these mountains, which you can see not very far away as a light snow. Let's see. We also need.
I just changed my dice. Let's see what happens.
Kriv, these are the mountains, and these have not changed as far as you can tell. You remember not this exact spot, but you can see and notice the faces, and the rock faces, and you think you even see that faded rock face off in the distance that you had tried to make it up with Vola and with Dame Warnhill, and where Vola had met her fate, and the snakes had attacked you all. The slopes are sharply steep here, and it's almost as if the mountains themselves have been made into almost like a fortress. The people in Perenval have started to call this the Vola's Cliffs, because she's kind of taken on a larger-than-life name, as some of the heroes have in the stories. You know, stories have grown bigger than the people themselves, so to speak. Let's see.
Which is good, because she died failing an athletics check. Fell to her death. I'm pretty sure Sean is still salty about that.
Oh, you know he is.
Just as you approach this mountain, you can see around you ruins, and it looks like that a long time ago that there are ruins that are shards of metal, but they used to have design elements to them that indicate that at one time the place that you've come to actually was not only settled but some place of importance. And the other thing that happens is suddenly, as you approach these mountains, you can hear something, and up above you can see the gleaming and massive winged figure. It's beating its wings and roars. Its roar vibrates the ground as it soars overhead. It flies high up into this mountain, and you can see it go way up into the clouds and disappear in the atmosphere up above. And it was a dragon.
Oh, geez. Here we go. Gotta make a climb.
Yeah.
It is nightfall, and it is dark now.
Can we tell how old those ruins are? Or when you say ruins, is this like a village that's gotten burned out in the last year by this dragon, or are we talking like ancient ruins?
Yeah. What kind of, I would call for like a history check, but I kind of like this. How would you try to find that? Like, how would Kriv try to find that out?
Well, I think Kriv one, he would look for. I think he would look first at try not to overthink this. I think he would look at any buildings or things themselves, like were there more modern materials like wood.
I'm gonna step away from my headset for just a second.
And so, and then I think he would look for, if things had been burned, was the charcoal still there? How deeply are things covered up? Can he see any tracks? Things like that.
Cool. I'm going to do like a new thing here that I've learned, and I don't know if it's raw or not. I'm still studying it. You can either make a history check or a history check with wisdom.
History check with wisdom.
So if you had a bonus to history, you could use your wisdom modifier and add your bonus. Not your whole bonus, but whatever you added. Like if you gave a +1 to wisdom +1 to history during character creation, you could use wisdom, or I think it's intelligence is what it suggests.
Yeah, intelligence is what it uses for. I've got a +2 to intelligence and a +0 to wisdom. So.
Oh, okay.
I'll just roll. That's a cool feature, but I'll just roll it straight up and down. History check.
All right, I'm back.
That's something that I think is really going to be important. That I like is when someone tries to do intimidation with strength. Like, yeah. So if you have a +5 to strength, yeah, and then if you have a +2 to intimidate, then instead of adding charisma, I would add strength. So it'd be like a +7.
Ginger,
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense for a character specifically like Kriv. Because if Kriv's intimidating, it's by being a 7-foot tall dragonborn.
Yeah.
That's jacked. Okay, well, I rolled a 15 plus 2 for 17.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Okay, so here, I'll answer your questions, and then I think you can discern more. First of all, these are metal, and they are excellent, finely made metals. But the fact that all the remaining elements are gone suggests that this is quite old.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you're able to tell is that this is something that harkens back to the stories of your people from ages ago, when the Dragonborn migrated into Faerun from Abil in the original Dragonborn. Like, it has elements that are draconic and artwork in it that is refers to the dragon gods, Tiamat and Bahamut.
Well, Kriv is a little bit superstitious, so he's gonna take. He's gonna try to find like a token, something that he can put on his person for good luck as he goes into these mountains, almost like a blessing from his draconic ancestors that lived here in these mountains.
Sure, you find so you can see sometimes these two forces, these elemental forces that represent all of existence, or at least that's kind of the religion of dragon kind, and that force of stasis and good that is Bahamut, you find actually an element that has fallen off, and you could take it.
Okay.
It's the votive body of the platinum dragon.
Okay.
And you can add that to your inventory.
So, what would be a succinct way to describe that?
Bahamut votive, and it would be like a little metal dragon with part of it torn off. You guys gonna try to rest, or are you gonna go for it?
I think we need to set up camp here before we start the climb.
I agree. You gotta use it. Start when we have the most daylight, and after we've regained our strength and eaten some food.
All right. Yeah. Kriv has been through this before, and it ain't no simple thing. Like, people, you can certainly die from this. So it's not going to be easy.
Climbed several mountains with Ross.
Okay. All right. So you set up camp. You guys set up watches, obviously, so that it's staggered.
Yeah. Ardrith will take the first watch.
Okay. All right. You do that, and you're able to sleep through the night. It remains a sort of like dull twilight here. It gets very dark, but the temperature is cold. You're able to endure it, however, and especially with the extra supplies you found. In fact, the supplies, particularly for Ardrith, turn out to be no pun intended, but a godsend, because the bedroll and the tents and stuff are something that have prepared you for an area that otherwise you wouldn't have been prepared for, and you stay warm and you sleep through the night. And as Kriv watches in second watch into the morning. Eventually, the dull twilight returns and gray skies, and you know that it's daytime, and some time has passed, and you have a long rest and the benefits thereof. You probably need to eat, and in fact, I apologize. You guys need to eat twice. So, I don't know if you want to do like the cook the pig, and actually you want to just cook both of them. Then it'd be yesterday and today. I should have said you had to eat, but I forgot about that.
I would guess, based on both of their monster hunting experience traveling, that they would eat some right at that moment, and then probably honestly smoke the rest overnight, turn it into jerky almost.
Yeah, yeah. You create like a stone smoker in the ground. Uh, yeah, so sure. So that would be the food for the next day. And all right, you wake up. So now what do? Everything still seems the same.
So if we're standing right where this picture is and we're looking at the mountains, where did we see the dragon? Was it straight ahead of us, deep in the mountains?
It flew straight up above you and then went all the way to the very top. And one thing that's different from these pictures, and you can see like these sharded peaks. These are more like layered. So this one kind of goes across on a ridge. They used to, as you know, they used to be called the Staircase Cliffs. It's almost like the mountain itself used to be like a fortress or something. And at the very top of it, they disappear into the cloud layer, like a skyscraper. And so the dragon flew overhead, and then, hold on just a second. Get nervous. Flew straight overhead and then went straight up into the into the clouds, up at the top of the mountain peaks.
Okay. Ardrith, you want to start climbing?
Yeah, I think we need to. Well, first thing I think I'm going to do is just like send up a thank you prayer to Bahamut. Just being like, yeah, thanks for showing us where to go and for the stuff we found, and then yeah, I think we'll be ready to start the climb.
Side note, out of character, for like the first half of our big Perenval campaign, I couldn't hear Joe correctly, and I thought he was praying to Muhammad the entire time. I was like, man, interesting choice. I respect it. I really do. Made a Muslim monster hunter.
That's yeah. Anyways, let's see here. Blah blah blah. Trying to make sure. Let's see. Okay, here we go. You start making your way up, and it is not easy. The good news is that Kriv has done this before. Does someone have a climbing kit, actually?
Was there possibly one in the Explorer's pack? I don't know.
I'll check. I don't think so. Nope.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I have rope and stuff, but I don't think I have like a climbing kit.
I'm sure that you guys would try to improvise with the rope, and what that will do is give you an opportunity to save whoever is the next person climbing up. You probably have that much sense, like modern climbers, that they would, belay for one another.
Can I use my hand axes again as pitons?
Didn't you lose your hand axes?
I had it listed here. I bet I just didn't take it off. You're right. I did on that last mountain climb, didn't I?
Yeah. I'm cool with...
I would assume you bought some more.
I kind of like the idea of making like a... I can't remember what it's called, but like an improvised check to see if you can, and then if they work... if you have daggers or something, I kind of think it's cool, and I would say it works if you can pass that check. But if you fall, you lose them, and they're stuck on the side of the cliff, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said I found some daggers at the campsite?
You did.
Sweet. So how would I roll an improvised check?
Well, if you take a portion of the day to do it, you also have blacksmithing tools.
Yeah.
But it would take like well into the afternoon. So it's whatever you want to do.
I think we may want to do that. I think I want to sit down and try to fix a improvised climbing kit for myself and Kriv.
Well, let's make an improvised check. That's kind of cool. You can add your proficiency bonus to it because you have proficiency in blacksmithing tools, and it's you can use Well, actually, you tell me how you would kind of go about it. I would imagine that it's sort of like a wisdom check. But what skills does Ardrith have? Like, does he have survival? Actually, do you have a? Yeah, actually, you have a high survival check.
Dude, I've got a +4 to survival.
I would imagine you could do like a +4, and then. So, what is the base stat for that? For your, what does it say? Wisdom? Let's get technical.
Let me pull it back up here. I was in my equipment trying to find my proficiency bonus.
It's on the front page. It's like where your AC is and stuff like that. Initiative.
Oh, okay.
It's the most important stat in the game, in my opinion.
What is?
Proficiency bonus. That one number is kind of what everything's based on.
Oh, for sure.
When everything's
wisdom survival.
Okay, so what's your wisdom modifier?
My wisdom modifier is a +1.
Okay, and what is your survival?
A +4.
So let's make it +3, and then your proficiency bonus, I'm willing to bet, is still +3. And it should be in the top left of your character sheet. So this will be a +6 by using your blacksmithing tools, a survival check. This is something I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm trying this. So
now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ross, but if he's using his blacksmithing tools to help him climb, if he fails a check, he loses his tools, right?
I don't remember that being anywhere.
I'm not using my blacksmithing tools to climb. I'm using them to improvise.
Oh, right. Sorry,
okay.
I misunderstood the question. Yeah, he's going to try to actually make climbing tools right now.
Got it.
So it's going to take most of the day, but he's going to try to use these blacksmithing tools that he carries to take the improvise action. Okay, roll a survival check, and you'd be adding +6. This is not going to be easy.
Right. So, that's not... Okay, so I don't use my +4 to survival. I'll use a +6, right?
Yeah.
I need to roll a d20 and add 6.
Yeah, and I got that figure by subtracting the modifier.
Oh, I just rolled a 19, so +6 is what?
You
25.
You take these daggers and you're able to like secure them and I don't even know because I'm not a blacksmith or a welder or anything like that, but you're able to fabricate a handle and then basically make ice picks and like serrate it to where it's just like an ice pick on two ends. And so you are able to take either side of these and make a set for yourself and Kriv.
Awesome.
Okay, so you'll be making these checks with advantage now. If you fall, you'll lose these. All right, so who's climbing first?
Well, Joe, what we did, and we don't have to do it this way at all, but what we did when Sean and Dame Mornhell and I climbed cliffs was I used athletics as my check, which I have a +8 to. And with these ice axes, it'll be a advantage. So we can do that if you want. It didn't make it perfect, but it helped us a ton. Do you want to do that, or do you what were you thinking in terms of approach?
I think we're gonna slap a rope around one another, and
For sure.
since you've been here before, I think I'm gonna follow you.
Okay. I guess yeah, I'd say in terms of RP that makes sense. So
I've got to pee. I'll be right back. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Right.
As well. No way.
All right, I'm back. Sorry.
So remind me, Ross, with the rope tied around the waist, does that mean if one of us falls, the other person gets to make a check to save them, essentially?
Yeah, and I like to use a rope as like advantage, so you can make a check to try to save the person with advantage.
Got it.
It would be your reaction for the next turn. So if anything happens that would elicit a reaction, you won't be able to use the reaction.
We would have lost Sean to his second cliff-related death if it hadn't been for that rope in the last one.
Yeah. Alrighty. So since you're going first, you would make an athletics or acrobatics check, and you do it with advantage.
First one is 12. Second one's a nat 20.
Nat 20.
Okay.
You're able to scale all the way the length of the rope and part of the way into the next one, such that you will be able to hold yourself for Joe to climb twice. In fact, it's the full length of the rope at this point, but you're already really high up now, and it doesn't take you long. So you're secured at the sheer face of this mountain. And you have the rope for your friend, who's now at the full length of it at the bottom, and it's tied off to him. And it is Joe's turn twice.
All right, we're using athletics, correct?
Or acrobatics. But if it's acrobatics, you have to what you do is just tell me what you want to do. If you're just going to climb, I would imagine it'd be athletics, but...
Yeah, at the moment I'm just climbing, so I'll roll athletics with advantage. And you said twice?
Yep, with advantage.
Okay. My first was an 18.
Okay.
And then the second was an 18. I rolled a 13 and a 16, and then plus 2. So
Kriv,
18.
you're, I like to imagine Kriv almost has like PTSD at this point about this situation. With all the things that have happened, nearly losing Dame Mornhill actually in the second one, and in the first one because she was poisoned, and in the first one losing a friend. But Ardrith doesn't surprise you. He just has this he's just like a bulldog. He's just very obstinate and just keeps going. And it takes him a long time because he's a human. Is it fair to say that you all left your supplies at the bottom? Because I'm going to have to modify it. Like, you're not carrying a tent and everything in the world up the top of this thing.
Just our weapons and maybe a little bit of food.
Okay, so you have like a day's food and your weapons and stuff, and otherwise you left your equipment and your horses down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, God.
Well, I just ran into a little problem. I think I have a solution to it, but I was like, oh yeah, you don't have your horses. Okay, anyways. Okay, so you climb. This takes this is really hard. It takes and you even have to take breaks. It takes like several hours, and the sun is now as high up in the sky. You know, it's going to approach evening soon, and the sun is about to set. But I like to imagine that Kriv secures himself for Ardrith, and Ardrith continues on up above, and now Kriv can make his final climb. You could probably make the full length of the climb.
13 and 15.
Okay, with no problem at all, Kriv is able to make it to the top. Kriv disappears from view, but one thing that you can tell Ardrith, he's like way up into the clouds now, and you can tell that the rope becomes tight, and it's obvious to you as you pull on it that it's completely secured now.
All right.
Obviously, he's found something to secure it to. And you can make your final check.
That is a 17 plus 2 for a 19.
At this point, you're able to, use one of them and partially just use the rope, and you've got plenty of tools to work with to make your way to the top. You work together and make your way up there. You pull yourself up onto this uppermost, like a short and a shallow plateau, and you struggle to catch your breath. You're already thousands of feet up in this thin air. It kind of makes you dizzy, or at least Ardrith it does. and the strangest thing happens. You find your feet solidly, just like on solid matter, but and everywhere around you it appears to just be clouds. And ahead you can see clouds and these strange shapes that tower up above you. And it's sort of like vague, but not that vague. Like if you see Garfield in the clouds someday, like because you're like me and you're actually 12, like it's more clear to you than that like it looks like it's like a castle. And there's a little figure several hundred feet away on the clouds that's energetically waving you over.
All right. Ardrith just looks at Kriv and he's like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
I think Ardrith and Kriv no longer have the ability to be surprised by anything.
This is turning into a fantasy version of what's that buddy cop movie? Lethal Weapon. It's like with dragons and gnomes and stuff.
We head towards the little dude that's waving us over.
You head towards the little dude that's waving you over, and actually it turns out that it's not a little dude. It's a little dudette, and she's got like a unblemished mocha-colored skin and black curly locks of hair, and she looks to be about the size of a halfling, and she's got this beaming smile with bright eyes and a little button nose. She's like, "Hi!"
Hello.
Caitlin, well met.
Let's see. I was expecting more trouble than this. Where are my manners? Welcome to my home. Is there anything I can do to make you comfortable? I'm so glad that you all made it.
Kriv is instantly suspicious. She is way too happy.
She's super happy. I'm so happy to see you all.
Well, I'm guessing you don't get many visitors up here.
No, I haven't seen people in, well, when I flew over the city a year ago, but other than that, it's been ages since I've seen people.
Hold on. You flew over the city?
Yeah, sure. Ardrith, he asked my dad for help, and so I flew over the city and kind of scared some people last year.
And for that, I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, anytime, big guy.
I received your letter, which is obviously why we're here.
So about the letters, out of character. One thing that's kind of a mess right now is the timeline doesn't add up. Like some people are doing things like 2 years from now, some people are doing things 2 weeks from the battle. Hypothetically, the letters would be happening a little bit after this. So just so you know.
Well, I thought my letter was before this.
Oh,
though.
no, you know what? You're right.
Specifically,
yeah,
she asked me to come and see her.
Yep. You're right. Yeah.
Kriv's a little lost, but he's just going, he's here for the ride.
Kriv, my friend, you look lost. But anyways, I'm happy to see one of my kind here too, in our old blood. So I'm really happy to see you, buddy. She comes up and she like hugs your leg, and then like she runs over and hugs Ardrith, and yeah. Well, can I get you all anything? I haven't had guests in, well, it's been probably 600 years.
You said she's a halfling?
Yeah.
Do you have a stiff drink?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. She disappears for a while around the cloud bank, and then she comes back, and she's got these 2 gigantic frothy mugs of, actually 3 of them, like that are huge for her, and they like obscure her face. She comes up and she just kind of raises them up for you all to get. One's about normal size for Kriv,
which is not the usual. That's pretty good for Kriv.
Thank you kindly. Yeah, I just plopped down on the ground. I just sit down and put my knees up and just take a drink.
I'm gonna wait to see if she drinks first.
Oh, she drinks. Yeah, she like drinks half of it. It doesn't even make sense. Like, where did it go? Yeah.
Once she drinks some of hers, Kriv begins to drink his as well. He downs it pretty quick.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Do the both of us do that?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I was drinking slowly.
I got 25.
Okay.
Constitution saving throw, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a 16 on mine.
This is so it doesn't affect you all, except that this is like the most subtle and potent and well-made beverage that you have experienced, certainly since you came to Perenval. There's been nothing like it in the years, 2 or 3 years since you arrived here, and it's some of the best you've ever had in your life.
Oh, I'm just savoring it.
Yeah, I think Kriv goes to chug it, and then as soon as he tastes it, it slows down.
Anyways, my name is Mel Petroneth, but you can just call me Mel. And she takes her big brew and she hops up onto a cloud so that she's about eye level with you all while you're sitting. And she looks at Ardrith and she says, "You look like you're really troubled there, buddy."
Oh, it's been a year. I've come to seek counsel and seek your advice. This is not the life I chose, and it's not a life I've ever lived before. And I need to help my people, and I just don't know where to start.
Oh, no one has come to me for advice. Well, I guess the last time was 600 years ago. But oh well, I'm really happy you have. Your people are in trouble.
The city's in ruins. Bandits are taking up refuge just outside the city. We have monsters beginning to build their own armies around.
She holds her drink and she's just like, and she listens empathetically.
We tried to open up the veil and allow for trade, and apparently that was a very dangerous idea, as we now have enemies from Nilfheim. It's only a place I've heard of in fairy tales that have began to cross over. We met one on our way here.
Make a perception check.
Perception. Bum, 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 perception.
At 20 for a 24.
Oh wow.
Right.
That's the first nat 20 I've rolled in a while.
Has this like implacable look of like listening and empathizing and holding the drink, but you see something like flare in her at the mention of Nilfheim. Yeah, and that's what you notice. But she says, "Well, I love giving advice, but why don't I just come with you? Well, I'm sure we can sort this out together."
You are more than welcome in our city anytime.
Oh, thank you so much, Artie. This is going to become a thing.
Artie. Kriv smirks a little bit at that. He's gonna make sure someone finds out.
I'll wear that name with honor.
You know, let's be honest. And she like tosses her drink out. She's like, "You're not a diplomat or a bureaucrat. You know, I've got a few thousand years of experience in God, what would it be called? Like scribing and administration." she's got her MBA. She's like, "You know, my father, he didn't choose you for those reasons, Artie. I don't think so. I think he saw your heart. So, how about I come and I take care of some of this paperwork for you?" and then you can use that big heart to put that lance to work.
It would be an honor.
Great. I'm really excited about this. There are a couple of things, though, because the last time I did this, it didn't go well. So I just have to we have to probably go over a couple things in advance, if that's okay.
Please.
Well, one thing is, I have to ask that you not, if I come and help, you can't demand that I use my power directly. My dad doesn't like that very much.
That I understand.
Oh, great. Yeah, the last person didn't understand very well, and that was really sad. But anyways, the other thing is that, well, you have to remain true to the agreement you made with my dad. Otherwise, he'll probably make me leave.
I'm a loyal servant.
Okay. Well, great. Yeah. Well, I'm really happy about this. I miss people so much. I love people. I just can't wait to see everybody and meet everyone and meet your friends.
I'm sure they'll be very excited.
Well, we should go then.
Is there anything that you need from your home?
I have everything I need. She steps towards the edge, like she's just expecting you all to walk with her.
All right. I also mentioned that I have her a gift on my horse. I had to leave it down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, it was a sheep, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really yummy. She goes over to the edge and she's like, oh, that's right. Well, I forgot. Humans are really crunchy when they fall. Let's see.
Just
Crunchy.
Let's see.
It's like, here's a parachute.
You see, like another blinding light come up out of her, and then she rises up. There's this like 50-foot tall figure now in front of you. It kind of shakes the ground and reverberates through the air, and she's like, "Come on, Artie, you ready?" And motions for you all to climb on her back.
I'm just like in awe. I was like, holy crap. But I climb on.
Okay.
Very carefully. Just to not hurt her or anything.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
It's,
I have a
but
feeling
like
you're-
for me, it's just like so strange. And I'm like, I don't want to cause any issues.
She looks back at Kriv and she's like, are you coming, buddy?
Kriv climbs on.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. In less than a second after getting onto her back, she beats her wings into the air, and within moments you're soaring up above the top of the cloud layer, and going away from the sun. And you are flying on the back of a dragon, and within moments, it just feels like just a few moments of this, you feel Meltetroneth suddenly descend through the clouds and going over the devouring sea, as people call it now. What used to be Moranthi.
What about all our horses and gear?
Oh, I was going to say, she grabs horses with her feet, obviously. You can't leave the horses, damn. But, let's see. What she does is she descends down toward the sea, and she flies down at the bottom of the sea because, as you know, Perenval is set up on a hill on this cliffside, and she kind of flies down below it, and then as she approaches the cliffside down at the bottom, she rears back up and flaps her wings, and she sets down the horses, and then she she sets herself down and lowers herself down for you to get down.
All right, well, we hop off and it's just like all rubber legged and whatnot.
Let's go back to you do hop off, and when you turn around, she is now this little halfling again, and oh, come on, roll 20. There we go. You guys are, let's see. Right here. And she's with you, and she says, "Well, let's go meet your friends."
All right. Just Ardrith is just still like has no idea what just happened. I think he would obviously offer Mel the horse and just walk himself.
She's like, "Oh, what a gentleman!" And then like she like clambers up on top of this horse. She like takes the stirrup and then pulls herself up and like climbs up on it and sits on top of it sideways on the saddle.
So I guess we're heading. Do we need to go to the Golden Nut or are we going to the castle? I think we need to go to the castle, right? I would assume that's where she's wanting to go now, is to the castle.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, she's asked to meet your friends and is following you.
Okay. Well, we will head to the castle first. That way she can meet Undil and I can let people know that she is my most trusted advisor now and that they have to listen to her.
It's about a 20-minute walk to climb up from where the docks are in the cliffside to get up to the top of the overlook and then around to enter the castle. The people there bow to you as you walk by and reverence you appropriately, and they see this like very beautiful young halfling woman on your horse. Let's see. When you arrive, actually, and you go back into whatever, what do you want to call it? Your throne room. Obviously, you don't want to call it that. You refuse to sit in it and everything. But that's where they bring cases and stuff to you. You don't find Undil, but Haon is actually there waiting for you.
Haon is there waiting for me. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Haon in a while.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do this. Let me see if I can pull off a cowl. Ardrith, Kriv, my old friends. It's good to see you. We've produced,
my brother.
Yeah, he clasps your hand in a very non-elvish way that she's become accustomed to. We've produced quite a few numbers of certified adventurers, and I wanted to inform you of their activities and give you my reports.
Well, first, have a seat. Meet Mel. Let's have a drink, and then you can give your reports.
Very well. He sort of very straight to the point and business-like person, but he's started to get used to you all, and so he so you keep drinks there? You have like a mini bar?
You know it's the castle. Of course I've got drinks.
Of course you have a mini bar. Well, times are hard, so I don't know. Actually, Mail is already like off by herself getting her own drink. And then she comes back and she's like, "Oh, hi!" And Haon is like, "Hello? Who is your friend, Ardrith?"
This is Mel. She's going to be staying with us here at the castle, and she will be my most trusted advisor.
Your trusted advisor, is she from another kingdom? Where did she come from? Hi.
You can say that.
Yeah, you could say that. Oh, well, sounds like there's quite a story. We could maybe talk about it at the Golden Nut sometime. And
Maybe
he's already
so.
sat down with you, and he's, got a drink.
But please deliver your reports.
Very well. I'd like to start with my the intelligence that we've gathered from the various adventures that have been set out into the Vale. We'll start, Ardrith. He doesn't call you like king or my lord or anything like other people. He's like, down on the last road, where the last road, as you know, Ardrith used to connect to Faerun through the mountain passes. And that has been closed for some time, but there have been groups of people with a strange accent, mostly humans, with some dwarves and halflings that have been making their way north along the road, and have even made it into Perenval.
Human, dwarf, and halfling.
Yes. On either side of the peoples and hamlets that are on the road have been beset by bandits, and I've sent a group of adventurers to address the problem, and I have a report on them later, but I'll tell you what else we have found. We have not sent anyone out into the devouring sea, I'm afraid to say, and none of our adventurers that have been sent east into the forest have returned to try to find out what has happened to Forks. I was going to suggest that since Caber and myself have once been to Forks and worked with the people there, that we organize a quest ourselves, knowing the dangers, and make our way through the forest to try to find what is happening.
You need to ensure that you have someone with you.
Of course.
If we can clear things up, maybe I can come along. I need a little more adventure. We might drag along Kriv as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. Although we haven't had any of our newly certified adventurers in the past 6 months make their way to the north side of the sea or to the Vale to the northeast or west, what we have seen is ships arriving in port on the west side of town. And we have no way of tracking the goods and shipping that has been occurring there. They haven't been going into the main port directly on the cliffside. And there are groups of criminals that have made their way into to town. And actually, I'll switch to the town map again.
All right, I'm looking at the map.
There are pirates that have been taking over some of the shipping and boats that have been working on the west side of town, what people are now calling the Blooded Berg. And I have sent a group of adventurers to investigate, and they have returned and given a report. It turns out that there is a group of criminals that are were-rats, were-people, and they've been murdering and thieving and taking over businesses. Some of them have started to operate on the east side of town. They seem to operate from the city's undercrofts and sewers and caverns.
This is troubling.
Yes, I think so. They weren't able to capture any of the crime, the criminals, but we were able to gather that information. I also have sent a group of adventurers south. As you may know, when we investigated the castle, it turned out that the Reeve was a mechanical automaton, and the magical mechanism that made him work has stopped working. And so, the wizards and spellcasters, including Felsane and Undil, have been working together to try to use scrying magic to find out the source of that power. Leo Doeku was sent south to gain supplies for rituals to try to make his way into the mountain pass, into whatever world we became connected to in the past weeks. He was unfortunately slain, and his body was found by a group of adventurers. I do have some information that he was collected that was brought back, and he hands you some notes that are bloodied and tattered. And let me see here. I'm going to make this reviewable. Oh, you already see it. It's in your journal. I don't know why, but it is now. It's Leo's notes.
Leo's notes.
I'll also make it visible to Kriv.
Yeah, Kriv's in there. I'll be letting him see things as well for sure.
All right, now Joel can also read this. The group of adventurers claims that they encountered a gigantic demon that in their investigation went by the name Ilgrafax the Foul. They said it was vast and that it came through a portal, but they also have claimed to have slain it.
You'll say that again?
Not only did they find the body of Leo Doeku in these notes and things, but during their investigation, they also found a demon summoning site that they said was truly vast. A creature came through the portal some 300 feet tall, and supposedly these heroes defeated and slew the demon. It went by the name Ilgrafax the Foul.
Is this a group of adventurers from our town, a group of heroes from our town, or
yeah,
elsewhere?
They actually were a group of adventurers I trained myself and certified. They were very highly trained and vetted. Except for one, a young, very young for one of my kind, an elf in fact, but a young elven woman, very energetic and strangely strong. But they vouched for her, so I did end up certifying her.
Interesting. I feel I may need to have an audience with these adventurers at some time.
Yeah, of course. They are taking contracts. One of them ended up disappearing. I'm not sure what happened to her. She was a cleric, a very noble woman, but I hope she's okay. She didn't return. And one of them was unfortunately slain as well.
Make sure to place a mark on our map for the demon summoning site, because I feel that's something I need to investigate further myself.
Of course, and I can show you where that is.
All right.
Mel is here, and she's actually attentively listening to all this. I'm just going to move your quest marker. It's just right outside the city on the last road, in fact. Probably less than a day's journey.
That close.
Yeah, probably like right here.
I thought it would be farther down, but damn, that's close to the city.
Yeah, it seemed as though Leo Doeku, in fact, made it almost back. and apparently he even conducted part of the ritual and found out. It seems that the reeve was controlled by some sort of gnomish magic, and they were also able to use a scrying ritual to determine that that gnome is still somewhere here in Perenval.
Okay. The old forest hills there would be suitable for the takers there.
Let's see. And then he's got one last report. I was also asked to hand deliver this, and he looks at you like you haven't been doing your job. And he's like, and it's a very finely sealed portfolio, and that's like when you receive it, it's almost heavy with thick, the paper is thin, but it's hundreds of pages, and it is got the seal of Yelsa Hodwick on it, and he says, our friends Caber and Felsane seem to want to file a suit against Zalvador. They claim that they have important evidence to some sort of malfeasance.
Ardrith just drops his head into his hands. He's like, oh my gosh. These two in Zalvador. I'll hear their case.
All right. Well, if that is all, Ardrith, Kriv, Mel, is it? And she's like, just call me Mel. And he's like, all right, Mel. I'll need to be getting back. And Haon has been working really hard, like tirelessly. He's actually been one of the busiest of the original party members, constantly training small groups of adventurers, and he like personally vets every adventurer now. So.
Okay.
And puts them through a long and grueling training process, and then they have to survive a real contract before they can ever be certified. Usually something dangerous.
Okay. That's good to know. Though I'm interested about the group of adventurers that had encountered the demon.
One of them...
that's got my head running, man.
One of them is a wizard that apparently came in from across the mountains to the south along the last road from whatever world we connected to. He's done a lot of work around town. He's one of the adventurers I sent to investigate the criminal groups on the west side of town, and helps kill several of them and save others. And then he also apparently helped kill this demon.
Please send word that I would like to have an audience with them when possible.
All right. Anything else?
I don't believe so. Are there any other reports?
No, I have nothing else. Ardrith, Kriv, Mel, and then he nods and then walks off. And in the coming days, Mel is like a blur, and you find all of a sudden that the stacks of papers and pleas and things suddenly turn into a trickle and are condensed down, and you're able to make condensed decisions about things often that are presented. And you find that for the first time in a year, there's a coherency to your life, and you're able to make your way about town without, and do what you used to do. And even whatever, you could go to the Golden Nut or whatever, the Forge. You have more time on your hands now.
I think a lot of that time, I think I'm going to use, rather than use a lot of my downtime, because I know I've got a lot of downtime accumulated, I think I'm going to spend a lot of that trying to be more responsible. And
more kingly.
Trying to getting a council of people together, like the merchants and people from, like I said, all walks of life, that I want to create this council that so that everybody has a voice.
I was going to tell you that. So there are 2 game mechanics, and this is in the session 0. I'm going to stop my recording.